Tuesday, right?
What's up? Pre-freeze scripts? I don't know what that means, to be 100% honest. Alright, I don't have a lot new to show, so everything's quiet. Oh, there we go. Okay. One thing, I don't think this is released yet. I'm losing track, there's so much. No, I haven't released this yet. Okay. It'll be out soon. It's in testing. This one's super simple, and it came about because OCRP uses TeamSpeak for all of their communication and audio stuff. So, like, we have dispatchers that don't even get in the game. They just use TeamSpeak for everything. So, because we don't have TeamSpeak integrated into the game, I've seen one plugin that does that, and it seems like a big mess because we're not actually using anything in game that's connected to TeamSpeak. So anyway, long story short, what I wanted was to be able to have the radio animations like you're talking on the radio without having to tie it to any external radio source. Now there's RP radio, which if you use PMA voice, there's a RP radio that's a PMA voice version that works great. I love it. In fact, it's on this server. I can bring it up right there and turn it on, but I'm not going to. That works great, but we don't use that at OCRP. We use TeamSpeak, so it's not connected to the game at all. So what I did is I created a script, and you come into your settings and your keybinds for FiveM. And, oh, my fan just cut my arm in it. And in your FiveM keybinds, down here, there's one that's going to be called Big Daddy Radio Animation, and it's the radio PTT key. And what you want to do is you want to set that to be the same as your push-to-talk key for whatever your external push-to-talk radio key is. Like right now, I have it set to left alt. I used to have it set to the right alt, but the right alt is not watchable within FiveM. So there are some keys that you can bind them, but you can't watch them from a script, so you don't know if they push them or not. And it'll tell you if that's the case in the client console, that if you're using a key that can't be watched, and that's fine. Your radio will still work, everything will still work, you just won't get the animation. So anyway, I have mine set to left alt. It's toggled off by default. You can change that in the config where it's toggled on by default, but not everybody on OCRP is on the radio all the time. It's only the police and the fire and EMS and stuff like that. So there's a toggle where you say radio talk, not toggle, and it toggles it on. So now whenever I press the left alt, and I'm talking in TeamSpeak. In fact, I better go mute that because I'm actually logged into TeamSpeak right now. So yeah, whenever you press the button, you're talking over in TeamSpeak, and you also get the animation. And it does work on the car. It's a little janky because you're driving, and you let go of the wheel to talk on the radio. But you can still drive. I guess you're driving with your knees. So... yeah, anyway, that's the whole script. That's the entire thing. And in the... I forgot that was turned on. You'll see, like here it's telling me this is what my key is that I'm using. Those are GTA codes, and I've looked it up and it's left alt. It'll tell you right here if it's not bindable. So... and all that means is you can't use it. The animation won't work. You can still use the key and your radio will work because these are not tied to the radio at all. Anyway, so that's that. Let's see. Any questions? See some scripts, yeah. The bus script, will you be able to change bus? Yes, the models are changeable. You can tell it to use whatever bus you want. You can use... built in, it uses the buses in the game, and like the city bus goes around the city, and then the Dashhound bus goes from the bus station all the way around the state. It goes to Sandy, and then it goes to Grapeseed, and then it goes to Polito, down the GHO, and back into the city again. Anyway. I want to show something I just started working on. So it's not complete. So don't look at it as complete. I'm going to set... I'm just going to set it here. This is the turn by turn, and what you'll see... Oh, I forgot the... Hang on, let me turn that off. I got some debug stuff going on here on my local. Got my 80s playlist going tonight. How about that? Okay, those will stop now. And you'll see the directions.
Turn right onto...
I don't have the street names in yet.
You're looking good.
Turn left onto... Turn right onto...
And for some reason, it's not telling me when I arrive. Like, it should tell me I arrived right there. But, I mean, I just started working on this today, so... So that's going to be the... I'm calling it turn by turn. Anyway, let me catch up on the chat here. Yeah, okay. Good. I hope it's helpful. Questions or requests? Because I don't really have a lot more to show off at this point. Appreciate that, Joel. SCMP. I don't have SCMP. There was one I wanted to show, but I don't know if I have it in here. I'm looking for it. Oh, I do. Let's see if I can even get it to work. This is one that's like way in progress. Oh, that's not it. I don't know what the... Joseph, what's the code? Do you remember?
Let's fucking go!
Good grief, what is wrong with people in this town? I thought it was... I'm gonna have to open it up and look at the source now, because I don't remember. Give me 1 second. I honestly wish I could turn off some of the AI stuff. Oh. Ooh, I hope I didn't override it. That would suck. Yeah, I should turn that back off, or else I'm gonna crash everybody. Joseph, I don't know where Super went. I'm afraid I might have done something stupid. Yeah, they talk to each other, though. Pre-flight. I forgot about that one. I don't know if you guys know about the pre-flight script that I have now. Basically, it was built for helicopters to spin up slowly, more realistically. With Joseph, you aren't listening. And somebody had the idea, sorry about that, had the idea to make planes do it too, and I thought, wonder if that would work. And I might have done it. So if I spawn in any plane, we'll start with this one. Now it's going to spin up slow. And once the RPM thing quits blinking and turns green, you can go. There you go. Now we can take off. And it works with jets too, although some of them, some of them spawn up wonky. What's the question? Are they powered by the props spawned in, or do you have to add them to the script, or both? The script and the props are tied together. I had the props every one of them was custom made to match what's in the game. Mrs. Bzz did those for me. Did a fabulous job. Hey, I wasn't trying to fly well. Leave me alone. Anyway, jet. They spin up kind of weird because the jets go in stages with the engine. It's not a smooth transition. Actually, this one's not too bad. And there you go. You'll hear it on this one, I think. Yeah, you hear it step up there until it gets to a point and then it smooths out. I just think that's the way the jet is. Anyway, and you can turn those on and off in the config. So, I wish I could find I'm looking for a particular script that I had in progress, and I'm afraid that I messed up and may have deleted some of it. Not thinking. I think I did. There's no way to get that back either. Well, that's not nice. Joseph, I think I lost the superscript. What's up, West Coast Wookie? Add a DV to the chat script? I mean, DV already exists? I mean, I don't know. Hadn't even thought about it. Yeah, getting inundated with messages right now. All right, any questions? Anything you want to see? I'm brokenhearted over the superscript. That was a lot of code. Yeah. Ah, what an idiot. The police and EMS stuff. No, I honestly haven't touched it. The stuff I've been working on, Traffic Manager was a big one. There was some craziness with that. Once we threw it on a server that had a bunch of people on it, they managed to dig up some bugs in it and freaked it out. I think we have them worked out. So it's a magic barrel, auto-correcting. Yeah, there was a bug that if you hit delete twice, you couldn't drop the barrel, but now that's fixed. So, among a couple other things. But it seems to be working really well at this point. I haven't heard any complaints in the last couple of days. So there should be an update for that coming out very soon, probably this weekend. I started looking at framework layout and what I want to tie together and how I want it to work. And I've been looking at that lately. Oh, there's my alt key. Let me look at what I have in my list here. Yeah, radio animation pre-flight are in final testing. County services, I'm still fighting with that thing. It's a monster. I've updated a lot of the scripts, and as updates come out, this will come out with it. They have been reliant upon the player spawn event for the script to start up, and I'm removing that dependency. I can't speak. Because we found out there are some frameworks that hijack the spawn event, which don't even get me started on frameworks doing stupid stuff like that. But and if you restart the script, everybody has to respawn for it to work. So I have removed the dependency on a lot of the scripts, and as they roll out, that will be gone. It doesn't mean much to most people, and you won't even notice it, other than it just will work for more people. Yeah, frameworks are harder because there's a lot involved, and basically I have always thought about the framework thing in that I want to everything I've built or most things that I've built, I think about as a modular piece of the framework. So there will be a central piece that manages your spawning and your login and your character and that kind of thing, and ties it all together, and is a communication hub for scripts to be able to do the things that they're supposed to do in relation to who you are at that moment in the game. And so all of these interactive scripts that I have will work through the framework. That's been the idea from the beginning. So that's the way I'm thinking about it at this point. Sorry, my air conditioner is really loud in here, and so it's hot because I turn it off, and I have this little fan that tries to keep me cool, but I don't want it blown across the mic. The extended it makes it a little longer. The extended rollover for the vehicle damage. There's not a huge difference. It's just a little bit difference. It applies a little more force as it's rolling, and it goes for a little longer. It keeps applying force a little longer. The way that thing works is as it rolls, it does checks while it's rolling, and it looks at the velocity and the speed that you're rolling and things like that. And as you slow down, it quits giving you a nudge. That way you can roll over a few times and then it'll stop. But the extended might roll over an extra time or something like that. It's not a huge difference. I feel like I'm hearing the fan blow across the mic. You need to get a little shield or something. Any other questions or thoughts? I get a lot of questions, Mr. Tyler X. I don't know how to say your name. I get a lot of questions about how do I start in programming? How do I learn how to write scripts for 5M? Or, how did you learn it? And I came into scripting with 25 years programming experience, so that was a big deal. I didn't know Lua at all. And somebody handed me a script and said, hey, can you customize this? And I looked at it and I could understand the code because I've been looking at code for many years. And so I started learning some Lua and doing some tweaking. And somebody told me, I started writing my own stuff at that point, and somebody told me I should sell it because people would buy it. And I was all for getting scripts out there because I want people to use them. And me being broke, I thought it was a great idea. And at that point, I knew that there was a CFX development kit for C#, and I'm a C# developer and have been for many years now. So I started taking my scripts, and I learned the C# side of it by converting the Lua into C# by hand. And that's kind of how I got started with the C# stuff. And I've learned a lot along the way. I learn new things all the time. I saw one today. Saw a native today that I didn't know. We learned that the pre-flight script, all those things that control the spin up of the engine, those are helicopter commands, but they seem to work on the planes too. So didn't know that till we experimented and tried it. Anyway. So people ask me, what language should I learn? How should I start learning how to program? And if you don't know anything about programming, go for the basics. There you go, KV. Start with the basics. Get on Udemy or I'm just trying to think of the other one. I can't think of it right now. But there's plenty of video tutorials and stuff out there, and learn the basics. Usually it'll be Python, or it used to be Visual Basic that they taught on. Code Academy is one. Pluralsight is another one that's good. And you can find basic programming, because it's not the language you need to learn. You need to learn the concepts of programming. It's more than just writing code. There's a process to it, and doing it well and doing it badly depends on whether you know that process or not. So that's my 2 cents. Take it if you want it. Most people just want to jump in and start writing code for FiveM, and I'll tell you right now that FiveM and GTA code is super frustrating, even if you know what you're doing. So if you're coming into it not knowing what you're doing, it's going to be even harder. It's going to be very, very frustrating, because things don't always work the way you want. The documentation that you have for all these natives that FiveM wrote, or CFX wrote, they reverse engineered the code and wrote documentation based on it. So a lot of it is guesswork, and they even say that in there. So it's going to be it's frustrating for me when I'm trying to write stuff, because they don't always work. And it'll say it works one way, and then it just doesn't. And so it's usually trial and error, and some of it's very hard to figure out. That's what I'm fighting with the county services right now, because I'm having to deal with if I am interacting with another player, that's a whole different world, because it's a network thing. And if you need to interact with that person, the ID you have for them, there's a number associated with everybody. It's not going to be the same that they have for themselves even. So and there's 3 different IDs, I think. There's a network ID, there's a server ID, there's a client ID. And knowing which one to use when you pass them back and forth, and being able to connect those with the actual player, super hard to do, and it doesn't always work. That's the problem I have with county services. It works sometimes it doesn't. So I'm trying to tweak things to where it works all the time and not just sometimes. But it is super cool when it does work. Yeah, that is true, that a lot of the documentation says we don't know what this does. We tried this value, we tried that value, and because they looked at the code and they looked how these functions were used, and they made guesses based on that. We think it does this, or it's usually this in the code, and that's what it'll say in the documentation. It's all a bunch of guess. So good luck with that. I fight it all the time. Yeah, I get that, Mr. Tyler X. Understand completely. All right, I don't have a lot more new stuff to show. There's nothing really. There's some back-end stuff going on, but the turn-by-turn is what I'm kind of working on now. That's my pet project. Nobody asked for it. It was just one that I thought of a long time ago, and I took the poll today if anybody was interested, and overwhelmingly people said yes, which blows my mind, because I turned the voice directions off in my car. So I feel like it would get annoying. Oh, but I could tell you, like, see if this will come through. The street names.
Amarillo Way.
Did that come through?
Amarillo Way.
Did you guys hear those?
Americano Way. Atlee Street. Autopia Parkway. Banham Canyon Drive. Barberino Road. Bay City Avenue. Bay City Incline.
What cookies? What are we talking about? Yeah, that's, I actually used AI to read all the stuff so it'll sound kind of like your GPS will. It doesn't speak too often, and I'm still working through it. I think right alt may have been a mistake. Or left alt. Trying to think of what else I've got here that I could show. I mean, I can tell you the stuff that's in my queue here. Well, there's a lot of it, but I won't go through all of it. I had somebody requested a tornado. It's been done before. But I'm trying to take it on. I don't know what a TCAS system is. I don't know what that is. So, no. I haven't had any thoughts because I don't even know what it is. I also started on a police interaction script that I'm not going to say it's 5 PD, but it allows you to pull over AI cars and interact with them, and they sort of randomly do different things. But I don't know if that'll ever get done because one exists, and it was a Ryan request, and I think he's actually forgotten about it for now. But yeah, I don't know what TCAS is. I'm sure Jeff would because he's kind of a flight geek. He loves that stuff. Well, I don't really have anything else unless somebody has questions. I mean, I can look up TCAS and try to figure out what it is. You guys know when I tab out now because he reaches for his radio. Traffic collision avoidance. Oh, so you say TCAS. TCAS. So you're saying planes flying in the air would avoid each other and not run into each other automatically. Is that what we're talking about? Tech Dude 404. I don't know. I mean, county services, I want it done because I've worked on it for a really long time, and it's going to be super cool when it's done, but it's a frustrating one to work on, and it's burnt me out a couple of times where I've had to walk away. Oh, okay. I hear what you're talking about with the TCAS. Okay. I think that turn-by-turn GPS will be cool just because it's something different. Jeff's really excited about the Tornado if I can pull that off, but that's a big load to mess with. It's a lot. Because trying to make particles look like a tornado where you can see it from a distance and it doesn't just absolutely destroy your frames, that's hard to do. What else have I got? I love the Hella service script, which you guys haven't actually seen. I've had to rework some of it to make it network friendly, but it's basically a taxi but a helicopter. And it's AI driven, so you can call it and it'll fly in, land, you get in, it takes you where you want to go and drop you off. It's very cool. But I have so much going that I just don't get it all done. I can't. And then the more people show up and ask questions and put tickets in, the less time I have to script. So there's just two of us. It's Joseph and I. That actually, it's Joseph and me that deal with the tickets, and he helps with some of the money integration stuff with frameworks, and he handles the bulk of the customer service stuff. So be nice to him. I have a few QA guys that test when they can, but it's, that's all volunteer, so I couldn't do it without them. I can't test it all. Just not possible. I actually have somebody asking me about the superscript, and it's going to be very heartbreaking. Hey, thank you, Rich. Appreciate it. It's going to be heartbreaking when I say I've lost that code. I hope I can find it somewhere. I hope I didn't totally get rid of it, because it was a lot of code, and it was one of the most fun things I've ever done. It's absolute insanity, but yeah, me too, KB. Tech Dude, come to the Discord and open a ticket, and we can talk about it. I have a lot of people ask, and I don't just take anybody, but we can talk, and we can see. All right, well, if there aren't any other questions or anything, I'm going to call it there and get ready for the OCRP stream tonight. We have some ideas already in a basket ready to go. That's different. All right. Hey, thanks for showing up. We'll do it again next week. Cool. Later.